And welcome to Grand Platypus Open number 42. Hope you're ready to half blaze it as we are getting into our first map. First series of the day is going to be Pezz versus Vivid. It is Quirky and of course the Important himself. Please buy his t-shirts. It is the Yakuzaku.
Hi.
Jeez, okay. So expecting that.
What's going on, Quirky? We are getting back in here. We're starting off with a player who, well, one player who we see just about every week. Another who we haven't seen in quite some time.
Yeah. Did he spit for a bit after ain't a chance, but he's back. And speaking of, we are on the Golden Wall for our first map, and we have here spawning on the left-hand side, the Red Zerg, representing Australia. Give it up for Vivid.
And in the right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the right-hand corner of the Golden Wall, LE, we have the purple Protoss player. Coming out from the land of M for Melbourne, representing M for Mindfreak. SC, we have the purple Protoss player, Pezz Dispenser.
Every time. Well,
single
he had
time.
a PvZ up first, so, you know, Vivid, he usually likes to play a bit standard, you know, compared to people would normally like to see, you know, the Go-Go Joeys, the Mio Micas, so...
Well, it has been a while since we've seen him, but yeah, I do think that his openings are generally pretty standard, generally a bit more economic, but I feel like Vivid is the type of player who, if he feels threatened, will not hesitate to just turn on the cheese factor, whether that be fully walling off his natural and going into roaches, getting a Nidus out, or even just big drop lords. I feel like Vivid was one of the first players who really utilized drop roaches that I can remember. It's all about the comfort zone for him.
Yeah, whatever he feels like doing, but for now, from Pezz, it's going to be a choice of what tech he wants to go up to. Now, we did see, you know, Zest today in GSL go for that 3 Stargate strategy that I quite like with the mass void rays.
Indeed. That was something beautiful to watch, and we definitely know that Pezz, one of the biggest Zest fanboys in this region, he's definitely been watching that. But yeah, let's see how much he's been able to emulate in those quick couple of hours.
Well, it's just the 1 Stargate for now, so might see the stead opening with an Oracle, maybe a Void Ray. But the Zerglings are going out across that map, going to be trying to find that scouting probe, and it looks like Vivid will be taking that 3rd base. After is coming across, yes.
Yeah, not really much to delay that. Come on, Vivid. Vivid. This isn't tearing up Protoss. There we have it. Hatchery does go down. And Vivid's still just sort of posturing. We have a little bit of a standoff here between that Adept and those Zerglings, as they both sort of vie for very, very early game map control.
Well, it is that Oracle first coming in from the Stargate, so a little bit pressure from our purple Protoss. We'll see. And there's a Void Ray fell off.
Yeah, naturally coming out. It is in such a weird position nowadays that you normally don't imagine Void Rays as, you know, something a Protoss player gets against a Zerg player, unless they go for some heavy, say, Corruptor or Ultralisk kind of composition. But nowadays, just because of how quick they are, they're even better than Phoenixes at clearing out Overlords, which,
yeah,
I feel like that's a little bit unnatural. I feel like that's a lot of disrupting natural order there, but yeah, that is something pretty cool that you can do with them.
Yeah, I don't think Vivid scattered that Stargate. I've learned because I don't think there's any spores in those mineral lines. I managed to get 2 drone kills though with that. Oh, okay, there is the spore in the main, but not in that natural.
Yeah, I got to be relying a lot on the Queen's there, which can be a bit of a risk right now, especially considering the creep isn't completely connected between these 3 bases. So, yeah, Vivid is really starting to cut corners here, but I think we can sort of see why. Single Evo Chamber, Roach Horn on the way. This is going to be a Roach timing.
Yeah, as well. So once to get that speed going, it's going to get the gases saturated as well. That natural. Sees Lings try to poke in, try and get some damage onto that third base, which Pezz is now taking. And Pezz, he seems to be just going back into his ground now. We're getting the Immortals, getting a couple of depths to deal with the Zerglings as well, Sentries. So it looks like it's just a pretty standard 1 Stargate opening up, going into those 3 Stargates, Mass Void Ray style. As +1 melee actually getting researched here by Pezz. By Pivot, sorry.
That is interesting to see. All right, well, he doesn't have the Baneling Nest out yet, so I'm guessing Ling Flood along with some roaches, but he's actually joining up right now, so no, this is actually going to be more of a safety thing. Nope, never mind. I am a fool and I am a dummy. That is a gold base that Vivid is now taken. I can see it so clearly, Quirky. I can see all of the Protoss getting overwhelmed with the Lings. Yeah. See it.
Oh boy, those Lings. I can see it now. Chucking a couple Banelings as well, and oh boy, you're pretty much just going to be pretty much nice and heckled there, but a bit of a mini Soul Train actually coming out here from Pezz, but it looks like he's just going to back off.
Yeah, for the time being, I feel like this is starting to become a little bit more common with regards to Protoss. They have a little bit of, I'm not sure if I call it firepower so much, but a little bit of a beefy army at the start. It's not really something that you can sustain over time, but you can try to get some map control with it. You can try to, just sort of pressure your opponent a little bit, but at the end of the day, you're gonna have to get out of there. Transition is something a bit more well-rounded.
Well, that bottom, the mineral wall at the main seems to be starting to get mined out now. So I think Viv is just going to be taking this base at the bottom, not going for some sneaky, bomb-based sneak along.
Yeah, at least not for the time being. As this game goes longer and longer, he does have that option. Vivid now pushing out with his +1 melee. He is continuing to pump out roaches, which I don't really blame him. Roaches are kind of his cleanup crew at the moment. He does want some Ravagers as well, but they're not really going to be able to utilize that +1 melee unless he gets really up.
I think it's more for the Banelings here. Especially when the Charge Lord's going to start coming out, because...
That's a good that's a good point. Just noticing that myself here. And I mean, yeah, you don't really need... Well, I mean, you do want centrifugal hooks in general, but best case scenario, you just get Charge Lords to charge into your Baneling so you don't have to crash them into your opponent there.
Yeah, well, centrifugal hooks is starting to get researched, as well as +1 ground weapons just finishing up here for Pezz. He does have the High Templar out, but I don't think he has Storm yet. He's just probably getting them for the Archon's Blink as well on the way here for Pezz. So he's just covering his bases for now. With tech-wise, as Vivid is just getting a couple more Ravagers, turning his Lings into Banes, it seems like here. 30 more Lings as well, but Pezz, he's had enough. He's pushing out. He feels like this army is pretty decent already, but 10 more Banelings on the way here. Those force fields have to be on point here for Pezz, but always...
I'm just watching the force fields right now. A couple of chargers at the front over there. Vivid setting up a fantastic concave over there. Pezz being a little bit more cautious, but here he goes. And here's the ambush coming down. But Pezz does react to it quick enough. Backs off.
Yeah. Still keeping that energy on the sentries, so... His force fields will be up and available, but it looks like Pezz decides just wants to go for this gold base. And I do love this. It has kept the Oracle alive, but immediately sets it off. And I like that. If he killed, I like how he killed the Zerglings before the animation made them freeze with the stasis. That is actually
that's one way
amazing. But there's the force fields, but I don't think that's where you want them, Pezz. As now here comes the Bailey's just streaming in onto the Archons.
Or is it though? As most of the buffer has been taken out. And I mean, there aren't too many charge ups left right now for Pezz, but this is still a very beefy army against a couple of Ravagers, a couple of Banelings. That is not really going to do much against this. Look at the splash damage from the Archon, as everything for Vivid just completely melts. He is still remaxing. That is the advantage of getting the gold base earlier on as the Zerg player, but he just cannot muster up enough of a fighting force to try to really stop Pezz. I mean, he's putting a couple of breaks into him, but I don't think that's really going to matter too much.
Yeah, well, the Archons did go down, but Vivid did take that base down on the bottom, so he still has the economy, he just doesn't have that added boost from the gold minerals, so... what is that below Pezz's gold base? Oh, a couple of roaches, okay.
Yeah, just waiting for the ambush.
Just wait for that gold base to be taken.
Exactly. But Pezz, he knows better than that. This Immortal drop, gonna be able to get a little bit of damage on here. Does have to be a little bit careful. Meanwhile, up in the north.
Yeah, the armies are trading, but looks like Vivid's able to hold it off for now.
Yeah, very well done. This is too much of a move command right off of Pezz. And a lot of the army does take a lot of damage here. The Roach Ravager force over here will get cleaned out, but not before dealing a ton of damage towards Pezz. That could just be the game. The first step, anyway, for Vivid to win the game.
Maybe. Roaches are just going to get cleaned up, blink onto these Stalkers, as Psystorm's almost finished here. 5 seconds left, and that will definitely change the fight towards Pezz's favor here. But for now, it just seems to be, as Pezz is also transitioning into the carriers, getting the extra Stargates here.
I'm just waiting for the mothership to recall.
Yeah, but Spy is down for Vivid at least being made here, so Vivid is on top of his tech, but his upgrades could definitely be a little bit better here, I reckon, as Pezz is going for that +1 shields.
Yeah, typically this is typically the sign that Pezz, he's really committed to switching into the Sky Toss. He has had enough of what's going on the ground. He's had enough about armor and what have you. He's just going straight to the skies and trying to shoot his opponent down from there. And meanwhile, we do have another push coming out here for Pezz, and I don't believe Vivid has enough of a force out right now.
That's a lot of Banelings, though.
That is a lot of Banelings, but he does have to respect the force fields as well as the Psy Storms. And I tell you what, Quirky, what are Banelings going to do against Interceptors? A beautiful run-by over here with the Zealots, threatening the third base, wasting a lot of those Banelings, actually, as 21 more probes go down. Look at the Storms! It evaporates the Banelings like bubble wrap. And Pezz, he has an opportunity, but he is still playing it cautious right now. It does not want to throw his lead.
Oh my god!
But there we have it. I think this is too much.
That's gonna be it. GG is called. Pezz is gonna take game number 1.
Yeah, showing that he is that top PvZ player in the sort of ANZ region, which, I mean, you gotta feel bad a little bit for Vivid here. You know, this is his first tournament in quite some time, and you put him up against one of the best PvZ players. That is rough. And what else is rough is having to restart your client. Almost a client. But he did inform us his next map pick, so we can get that set up while we wait. And while we wait, I gotta tell you, like Quirky, there, in my mind, I'm thinking these players, there's got to be a way to like contribute to them.
Yeah.
More.
I mean, well, you know, I feel like, you know, maybe there was some sort of site that you could go to and like contribute, use a code or something to give like a free dollar to the prize pool.
Yeah, I mean, wonder,
if only there was like a command or something in the Twitch chat.
Yeah, if only.
I don't know.
If only, man.
If only you used maybe like exclamation point Matcherino, you could have a bit of a. Maybe it would take you to a site, called Matcherino. You use the code GPO42. Like, this is getting a bit specific here, but it's alright. It's alright.
Yeah, I wish I could do that, Quirky. If only something like that existed.
Only.
It's like, that sounds pretty good. I like being able to contribute to other people without having to fork over my own money. But it's like, man.
It's like if I just love helping out the StarCraft 2 community and like the tournaments, and well, we'll explain more later after this, as we have here on the map Ice and Lies LE, and we have here spawning in the top right the Purple Protoss representing Mind Freaks. And the nation of Australia currently getting locked down by Dictator Dan. He is Pezz.
Fucking Dan, mate. And sweating over here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, sweating all the way into the top, bottom left-hand corner of the map, we have the red PvZ player. He is coming back after a bit of a break, but now recently coming back to not only competing, but also back to streaming, as he is the creative master himself. Going to be representing the land of Australia, as well as OSC Elite. Despite being teamless, we have Vivid. Oh my god, thank you, Smoke 1847. He went and made a Matcherino for us.
Oh, thanks. If he totally could not tell, we were talking about exclamation point Matcherino, and using code GPO42 to add $1 to the prize pool from Matcherino. And of course, if you feel like adding some of your own money, we're not forcing you to. But either way, it does help. Also, exclamation point Patreon if you want to help all our tournaments, as well as getting some cool, awesome stuff as well. But for now, this game seems to be pretty standard at the moment from Vivid, as now we faff through the early game a bit. I wouldn't necessarily call it faffing. I just checked my Twitter and saw Loco retweeted me, so I'm like, oh, yeah. In case you haven't seen, I just literally put up a screenshot from today's GSL, and it is blowing up. I don't know why, but apparently people agree with what Sue said in a segment.
Yeah, it's pretty agreeable. You could go look at that over at
twitter.com/QuirkyCast. But yeah, for now, it seems to be
pretty standard. I mean, my eyes right now are going to be on Vivid. I'm just thinking, how is he going to switch things up from the previous game? He knows that he's not exactly the favorite player in this particular matchup, and he has been known in the past to resort to more, shall we say, underhanded tactics, or underhanded builds, if you will. So, yeah, I'm just really curious. There's a lot of possibilities for him right now. But we are on Icy Chrome. Or, I'm sorry, Ice and Lies, which actually sounds like really good.
Yes.
Yo, that actually sounds like a really good Max Angel episode.
It is.
He's like on Ice a case somewhere in Alaska.
It's like, I will find... It's like, it's just some... It's Sue frozen in the ice. And all, like, the local police forces are like, well, we found this... We think it's this Chrome guy. Max Angel's like, it's a lie. There is no Chrome.
The Chrome is a lie. Oh, it's a psychological episode. Or the whole
Oh,
thing. He's just
it's
hallucinating.
military service that did Sue in. Oh.
Oh.
Oh,
We did
I
it,
just made
Max.
us sad.
We did it, Max.
We solved the mystery. I'm
But-
gonna miss Sue when he's in military.
Yeah, that I will too. But, you know, hopefully you can take the military as a bit of a refresher, as funny as that sounds. I mean, it worked for Björn.
I mean, to be fair, Bjorn was always like that, but...
True. Well, I mean, in the sense that, yeah, no, he went to the military to fix his wrist. Came back to just win everything, but, yeah, anyway, we are sort of getting to the tech decisions coming in from both of our players. Interestingly enough, for Pezz, he did not go for the Void Ray this time. Open up with a single Phoenix, and I thought for sure that would have meant that he would transition into more of a mass Phoenix type of composition. You know, try to go for that harass with the what's it called? You know, with the lifts on top of the drones. Yeah. Use the Oracle as a little bit of support there, but no, he's actually stopping with the Oracle and the Phoenix, transitioning into a fairly quick Templar Archives instead.
Yeah, I feel like Pezz, he wants to go for this sort of timing drop. Actually, I think he's going for an Archon drop, because he was getting the Warp Prism. We'll be seeing that across, getting the High Templars, warping them, and... So...
Yeah, he's not... Yeah, exactly. It does kind of make sense then that he go for the Phoenix as opposed to the Void Ray if the idea was to save gas here for the High Templar. And this is also actually another thing that I'm kind of a little bit baffled about. I figured that he may... I mean, usually when you want Archons, you go for Dark Templar, but yeah, not in this case. Nice lift here. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, it transitions into the better ground army, you know.
That it definitely does. Get some Storms out, which, I mean, Storm in general is always going to be good. It's better against certain compositions than others, but it's still useful just as a bit of a zoning tool, you know, maybe get a little bit of damage done if, you know, the certain units are a bit more beefy. Still softens them up quite a bit.
Well, Vivid is taking that fourth base there, as he will be starting to tech up. He's still droning more here. But, this, it might be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, for the time being, the Roaches do come in to save them, and Pezz with the lift right at the last second before any hull damage can be taken. You gotta remember, Archons, they've only got literally 10 health, so, yeah, they cannot afford that much hull damage. Meanwhile, we do... Yeah? Do you see that? Yep. If it is starting to really ramp things up, going for the Spire, going for the macro hatch as well over there. Which, to be honest, I'm not quite sure how well this is going to do, Quirky. I mean, if you look at Pezz, you know, he's getting his +1, he's going into the Beef Wave composition, and I'm not so sure either Corruptors or Mutas can do too much against this.
I think it's just more just he wants that spy early, just in case Pezz decided to go for that Golden Armada a bit earlier. But if he does have a couple of moves, you know, you can use that for a bit of harass, you know, they can quickly go in and out of mineral lines.
That it definitely...
Yeah.
Yeah, that it definitely can. And I suppose that's one way of just dealing with the harassment that Pezz is going... It's trying to do right now with the Warp Prism. I mean, it's not... It's 50-50 being able to catch that Warp Prism, especially if Pezz decides to go into getting speed, but if he just goes around to the mineral lines, he could just force Pezz to stay on his side of the map while he continues to just, you know, macro up, get his tech out, build into that late game death army that he wants to get. But for now, we're getting a little bit of, not that much action.
Yeah, but now it's just... both sides just trying to get what composition they want to get as +1 air weapons for Vivid, and there's the second Stargate coming down. So it looks like Pezz just wants to go into that, Mass Phoenix against the Mutas, which is definitely alright as they have the force field. We'll trap these poor roaches in.
Yeah, for the time being, there's not really much that can kill them. Two cannons not really going to do too much. Force field's going to run off, funnily enough. And Pezz, he does decide to be merciful. As
Oh,
he's
he's
got
not
other
merciful
things
to
to
those
deal with.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
As now the Corruptors are coming out, 10 in total. Blink almost finished as well. Psystorm is done, so this army from Pezz can be very, very scary.
I am just absolutely loving how Pezz has played this out. He is absolutely forcing Vivid to build an army that's not going to be too effective against the army that he's going to be going into. Notice that it's only 4 Phoenixes out right now for Pezz, and sure, he's still going to be building up that Phoenix count, but these Corruptors, once they deal with the Phoenixes, what are they going to do other than just die to the Archons and Stalkers? Meanwhile, because of that, Vivid just has a weaker ground army than he could have had.
Well, Pezz, he's pushing out now. He feels like he has the army to do it, and I feel like he does as well. So now first ball field going down. Here come the Corruptors. But, oh, wow. Yeah, especially against Storms and these Archons. There's nothing they can really do. And, oh my god, these Storms.
Yeah, really good zoning there, in addition to the force fields, funnily enough. But, yeah, with that, another fantastic storm over there. Not really going to be killing too many of those roaches, but does absolutely deplete the Baneling count. And softens them up enough that this should just about be the final blow. Vivid does still have to be a little bit careful. He's getting pretty deep into enemy territory, but I feel like Vivid just cannot get an army up quick enough. This is a good concave, but are they good enough units for this army of Pezz right now? As most of the supply that Vivid's got are in those Corruptors.
Yeah, I was about to say, those Corruptors are pretty much dead supply, but now the energy's low on these High Templar. They did get transformed into Archons, and with the Corruptors at least, he can pick off the Warp Prison, but still, there's just way too much here for Vivid to deal with, and I expect a GG any second now from our Red Zone.
There it is.
GG.
And there we have it. I mean, perhaps it was kind of the predictable outcome here, but honestly, I just thought it was great to see Vivid back again. You can catch him over at twitch.tv/VividSC, if I'm not mistaken. Does a lot of StarCraft streams, a lot of piano streams, a lot of art streams as well. I occasionally play some Valorant, but yeah, great guy to watch. And it is not over from yet. We'll be going down to the lower bracket to face Starduck, as we do have our next match. It is going to be a PvP, Justice Simon versus Pezz.